How much do you really know about serial killers? Challenge your friends with these 30 questions and let us know your score at the end. Good luck! Which serial killer was known as the Son of Sam and claimed to be commanded by a demon named Sam? Which serial killer was active in the United States and Canada during the late 1960s and early 1970s and targeted young women? Which American serial killer targeted women in Los Angeles during the 1980s and was known as the Grim Sleeper? Which serial killer was active in the New Orleans area during the 1910s and targeted Italian grocers? Which serial killer had a fascination with taxidermy and necrophilia? Which serial killer was known for keeping his victims' body parts as trophies? Who is known as the co-ed killer? Which serial killer operated in California during the late 1960s and early 1970s and was never caught? Which serial killer was known for keeping body parts as trophies and practicing cannibalism? Which serial killer was active in the 1970s in California and targeted young women? Which serial killer targeted young women and buried their bodies in his crawl space? Which serial killer was known for targeting women who resembled his mother? Which serial killer targeted young men in the 1970s and 1980s and buried their bodies in his home? Which serial killer was known as the dating game killer because he appeared on a TV dating show while still killing? Which serial killer was known for his charm and good looks and was active in the 1970s? Which serial killer was a former police officer and targeted couples parked in lovers' lanes? Which serial killer was active in Washington State during the 1980s and early 1990s and targeted sex workers? Who is known as the Night Stalker? Which serial killer targeted young boys and was known as the Killer Clown? Who is known as the co-ed killer? Which serial killer was active in San Francisco during the late 1960s and sent cryptic letters to the media? Which serial killer targeted young African-American boys in Atlanta in the late 1970s and early 1980s? Which serial killer targeted hitchhikers in the 1970s and was known as the Freeway Killer? Which serial killer was active in the 1970s and targeted young women in the Pacific Northwest? Which serial killer was known for his fascination with necrophilia and cannibalism? Which serial killer was known as the BTK killer, with BTK standing for Bind, Torture, Kill? Which serial killer operated in London's Whitechapel district in 1888 and was never identified? Which serial killer was known as the Night Stalker and was active in San Francisco in the 1970s? Which serial killer was also known as the Killer Clown? Which serial killer was known as the Night Stalker? That's it. Let's see how well you did.